I remember the day Colours come out, like I was at work and they were like, the day before or something, they were like hitting me up like, yo, we need like, I think we need the lyrics or something. I'm boring pants, yeah? And I'm like, yo, give me a minute to my boy, and like run upstairs, and like I'm in the toilet of the pub, yeah, just trying to like remember the lyrics of my dome and like type them down. So like,
so that track that just played was Manik MC, Dream Factory Freestyle, taken off the new project Concrete Clouds. Sensational project. We've actually got Manik with us in the studio right now to chop it up.
Yes, what's going on?
Welcome, Manik.
Yes.
You good, yeah?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, man. We're good to have you in the studio with us. Like I said, first of all, cold project.
Right now,
Cold project. You've been going for a while.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah, couple. 3 years. Yeah, trust me. Yeah. No, first of all, thank you for that, and thank you for having me, because it's really nice to be able to come and chat to it. Big ups to reaching out. Like, you know what, man? I'm really happy it's out, and yeah, there was a bit of a gap, man.
Why? Why so long? Why?
You know what, man? I was kind of trying to work that out myself last year. Do you know what I mean? When I was kind of resetting. I think partly was things moved quite quickly at first, didn't it? Yeah. So like I went from having no music out to then I was touring with Low Kana, touring with Jest and that, and then as soon as I finished that up, I got together the Midnight Express. I'd finished that. That came out, and then there was after that I was touring with Frankie and Harvey. I was Barney Artist. These times, so it was very very intense, and I wasn't. I don't think I built like a team around me, to help me kind of capitalise. But then within a year, I'd end up doing Colours. So again, that was a whole nother burst. But I was working full time in London in a pub, and like trying to juggle it all. Do you know what I'm saying? I remember the day Colours come out, like I was at work, and they were like, the day before or something, they were like hitting me up like, yo, we need like, I think we need the lyrics or something. I'm boring pants, yeah? And I'm like, yo, give me a minute to my boy, and like run upstairs, and like I'm in the toilet of the pub, yeah, just trying to like remember the lyrics of my dome and like type them down. So like it was very DIY at first, innit? And so when it got to that point after where I was like, I had all this music I've been working on. I never stopped making music, but I was struggling to enjoy it as much and be as motivated because I felt like a lot of pressure that I was putting on myself. But
naturally though, because you went so well, wasn't it, at the start?
And also just like there's pros and cons to being independent. You know what I'm saying? Like, and one of the cons is you're just walking in blind until you meet the right people and learn the right information. So it took me doing that. And in fact, I'm so happy I waited, because it was a purposeful thing to not put music out for a while. And it was just because I wanted to come back out when I was ready. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I had the music there, but I wanted to nail the music and be ready as an artist to kind of embrace moving on for the next project. And I felt like I got to that point at the end of last year. Had the project finished around Christmas time. And was ready to go. I like kind of tweaking it in the first couple months of the year, but was ready to go. And then obviously COVID struck, so made the decision to push it back a bit, because I just felt like after all that time, it just felt like not the right time. And we sit here now, and even though we've got like another imminent lockdown, I managed to slip in the little gap there, you know what I'm saying? Now everyone's going to be locked in the yard, you better listen to the EP, I know you've got nothing to do with it, so if I chat to you and you ain't listen to it, then boy.
It's right in your favour,
Yeah, man. No.
So yeah, obviously like you've kind of touched on what I was going to say next, but it's mad because obviously like you said, the Colours came out and like it's still working. How did that feel, knowing that you're on this huge platform, obviously like the Colours is getting mad views? How did you feel having to, or like, was it a conscious decision even with that? Did that getting the reception it got kind of make you want to step on the gas again sooner? Or like, what was the thoughts in your head after the Colours came out and it being received well?
See, that's the thing, is like, I sometimes think back to that point and think, because of opportunities like Colours, which being as big as it is, and being such an unknown artist as I was at the time, it felt it was even more huge for me. Like, because obviously I've been listening to it for years and loved the platform. So doing that was amazing, but I just felt like the next step needed to be correct, and I didn't feel like I was ready to make that correct step, or I just didn't really know how to. A big shout out to my boy Joe Mason and Pyre as well, especially in that period, because like they came out with me. Seb was out with me. We were in Berlin. And then from that point, Joe helped kind of like manage me a bit, and Pascal, who Pyre, he executive produced Concrete Clouds, so he helped me like tie it all together. Do you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to man them.
Yeah, no, big up to them
Shout out
because
to
that
man
period was important, because that's when I dipped away and was struggling a bit, and it took like, and it was through that helped me like kind of, I've always been a part of Route 73, but like it helped me kind of reconnect with it, with Asher and them, and more just like, it helped me reset a bit as to why I was doing it, what I was enjoying. And since then it's just been like raring to go. We've been making loads of music, like got loads of stuff in the pipeline at the moment, man.
Sick.
Man.
So obviously one of the leading singles on the project was the Maverick Saber track.
Yeah.
Cold track, cold visual. How did that even come about? How did that collab come about?
First of all, big up Maverick, because it's sick to have him on, and he smashed that track, and it felt very organic and right. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what? It's crazy. Meeting him was jokes, because obviously I'm originally from Finsbury Parkway, and it was just before Midnight Express was coming out. Really, like literally like a week or two before, and I was with my friend, and we were in a pub in Finsbury Park, and he was there with his missus, and like, my friend knew him through a musical connection, and her dad or something, they're like, no, whatever, and was chatting to him, and I was like, I pint down, I was like, I love this guy, you know what I mean? Like, I've been listening to this guy since like Channel U, bro, do you know what I mean? And them kind of days. So I was like, let me chat to him, and then I was like, yo, I make music, like, I got this EP Midnight Express coming out next week or whatever. I was like, check it out if you would. And he checked it out. Started smashing it up on Twitter and all them things, and I was like, wow, mad, like, because when you're first coming into music, you know what I mean, it feels so like dominated by clout and like and
so you wouldn't expect that from
and if you're not a big enough name and you're not benefiting someone, they're not going to work with you, and that's how some people operate. But with him, it was just purely about doing the creative side, and we just over time, and it took like 2.5 years to do a track, you know what I mean? But that's because we were trying to do it right, rather than just have him on for the sake of it. I'm trying to make the right music, and that's kind of how I operate as an artist around, you know what I mean? Like,
That's the best way to operate, fam.
Yeah, do you know how it came out so well? Again, Paya produced that one, and we worked on it for time, that one. It had loads of different elements building up in it. I just like, very proud of that.
On Concrete Clouds, obviously, you started shelling over 140 BPM. And I was like, Raz, I've actually forgotten that those are probably your roots. You start saying coming into the game, because you've been spitting from early. So when I'm hearing you shelling over 140,
Run with the wolves.
You know what I'm saying?
The 140.
And then, you know why it's mad? Because it's the last track. So I've listened to the whole
it's
project,
vibe.
and I'm like, I've caught it in the bars, and I'm like, cool, I've had a good time, it's been a good ride.
And then it comes in
140.
You know what? I'm glad you don't like that one, because you know what, it's like, you're right, it goes back to like, when I came up like rapping and shit, like I started messing around with my mates and at school, clashing people and that. Like, grime is huge, like. But I came up on F64s and like freestyles and listening back to old radio stuff, because we had just missed like some of the more like golden era radio grime, and it was always like looking back to it. Do you know what I mean? And like people showing us tapes and like pop radio and things like that. Cool. But all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like so that was a huge part of it. But at the same time as listening to that, my sister's a couple years older than me, and like some of her friends used to listen to a lot of the UK hip hop stuff as well. I was already listening to all the US stuff, you know what I mean? Like that's what I come up with. But then and they introduced like Skinny Man, Kalashnikov Jest, and that, and that showed, that always excited me because it was the lyricism of it. You know what I mean? And even in grime, like I enjoyed all the hype, like, but the artists I always really engaged with were like, people like Kano and that, who there was content as well as gets like all these kind of people, and of course, I mess around with all them, but like I was always attracted to that speed, and like I rap quite fast, I talk quite fast, it does make sense for me, innit? But that one was a sick one because it's 140 BPM, but if you feel it has a feel of a hip hop track.
No, it does.
Because of the type of drums, the type of sounds, like.
I was gonna say, how come you don't give us more of that? Because obviously I understand that in terms of the conscious rap and that sound, it goes with the instrumentals, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of the grime and like the 140, I was like, no, like you shut it off. Yeah, see, it's interesting. Like on my first project, there's a track. The last track, it's called Ends Life, and it's like similar thing. I kind of ended with a fast one, and like I've always messed around and enjoyed grime, but at the same time, I think reason why like I probably don't write that speed as much is it's harder to.
To be
the
felt,
content wise, like sometimes I struggle to. It's got not much space to maneuver with. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and it kind of leads you to a certain style of rapping, and I like that style of rapping. And I'm not saying you can't rap. Like people, all these artists have managed that. It's just like it's something that it wasn't necessarily like a skill that I was as used to. Of course. So it's something I've been working on. I've got quite a lot of stuff like that in the bank. It's just trying to find the right time, right place for it. But no, it's something I enjoy doing, and like. I like to push myself, so it's probably something I'll be doing a lot more of, man.
At the same time, you could just like sort of, because you know, certain artists they drop gems here and there, but they will never consistently drop that type of music or that type of sound, but they just have fun with it and they drop it.
Well, that's an interesting thing you're saying, because now, like, this is the one thing that I thought about that didn't really hit home until Concrete Clouds come out. But like having 2 bodies of work out now, like I've got 2 8-track EPs that like kind of tie together somewhat conceptually. And like for the first time, I feel like I've started to show for myself, like creatively, which kind of takes me away, and I feel like I can do what I want this next year. And like, one of those things is stuff that I've been working on is exploring like how to rap differently, what kind of music to work on differently. Like I've been learning more about production myself. Like I've always messed around with making beats when I was younger, but never really put the time to it.
Do you feel that would take your musical sort of prowess to like a new level if you learn how to produce as well? Because I feel like, do you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of artists who they've built upon that. Like even the best example I can think of is Tyler the Creator, and how his production stepped up with his songwriting and making like. Now, like I saw one interview, and he's in a room with Nardwar, I think, and a room full of vinyls, and he's looked over at the shelf and he's like, "Right, is this such and such by so and so?" And I'm thinking, yeah. And he said he wakes up and spends like hours listening to music just to help him produce. So I'm thinking like, if you're gonna go into producing, like that's.
Well, you know what, man? Like you're totally right, because I've been messing around in the piano the last year, for example. Like I've got to piano, I've been trying to learn a bit, and like because you know what the thing is when you. Like when you get into music, especially the thing about rap and hip hop, which is so amazing, is that you can get into it without having the luxury of having a musical education or the opportunity to learn guitar when you're a kid, all them kind of things. If you didn't have that, you can learn yourself. But when you enter the realm of music and you realise how vast it is and how deep it goes,
it just elevates your own music.
I get addicted. It's like and I'm looking up these videos of these Donnies on piano and on drums, and I'm like,
just creating madness.
You know, and like I've always enjoyed like people who are amazing at their artistry. Is what attracts me, innit? Be it writing, be it rapping, be it singing, like just that's what gets it for me.
Donnie's like Anderson .Paak.
But this guy, man, he can like rapping and just drumming. It's like 2 different syllable patterns. Like,
it's mad. It's his. What was it again? His NFPR.
Tiny Desk.
Tiny Desk. Yeah. Oh, honestly, he's exceptional. Like. But like the production side of things. Also, like I feel like I have the ideas musically. It's just like learning the tools and the language to get them across. So I'm working with producers and like. I help on every part of my tracks, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but obviously where they actually produce and I write, we just differentiate like that. But like, sometimes I struggle to get across like what I'm thinking, like articulate the concept without the tools. So I'm trying to improve that, and also I enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like I love making music. I enjoy the process and just want to keep getting better at it.
That even leads me to my next question, because there's the ability to like sing and rap and whatever, but like actually composing tunes together is a whole nother skill in it. And like your process, how would you describe your process in terms of making a track, and then how would you know that you've made a good track?
See, that's an interesting one, because like you cut that like that's changed over time, if you know what I'm saying. But like where I'm at the moment is, and where a lot of artists that I speak to are at, is that finishing the track thing. It's a hard thing because it's like you naturally, I tend towards like the conceptualizing, coming up with ideas is like. That's the so-called fun bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, not to say the other bits aren't, it's just they're harder, innit? Like, well, at least I find them. That's something that I found with this project that was different to my last one, is that by working with someone like Pyre, for example, where he didn't produce every track, but been able to bring all of those disparate parts that other people produce, different sounds, into one, under one umbrella, I felt like it was a much better process, more efficient, and like the end product, I'm just like the sound wise, I'm so much not happier than Midnight Express. I love Midnight Express, but that's how it's got to be. You know what I mean? That's how I want it to be. That when the next one comes, I listen back to the old one and go, "Oh, what's that on?" Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that was whack, right? That's the idea. But it's interesting. You said the Tyler thing, because like, that's for me his best album. That Evil album. Like, mine was ahead of his other stuff in terms of sound and just like depth of music.
But even Foul Boy is mad.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I rate that album as well. Just like when I heard that one, it's the way he's built that sound sonically. It's really right up my street. What I listen to. So production's up on my radar. Learning more about instrumentation and just diving further in, really.
Who have you been diving in on?
What current artists?
Anyone really.
Like, even producers, because I'm sure like you've been looking at artists, producers, singers.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Like,
really.
even like, close to home, you had Earth and Shigala dropping recently, and like, you know, that Style and Flair track. Not only is it a vibe on a music level, the video is out this world. And like, what they're doing is amazing. Like, I've got a lot of time for them, man. Obviously, Any just dropped Pen Black Girls videos out now. So shout out Silhouette's project out now. But in terms of wider than that, like, do you know what album I went back to recently that I really liked? Is I don't know if you listen to it. You know, Cleo Soul.
Yes.
Roses, I think it's Roses in the Dark or something like that. That record, that's an amazing. The other day I was listening to that again, unbelievable.
Sick.
Do you know what that your guy Emil? I was listening to his stuff. Yeah, he got some bits. Yeah, respect to him. Do you know there's someone I heard a track not long ago, like maybe a little bit back for a guy called Wesley Joseph. Have you come across him?
Joseph Cold. Yeah, I know.
Really interesting because he produces, writes it, and he does all the videos as well. And like he's got like a very like mad.
Closely with Wesley Joseph as well, actually. So
crazy talented that guy. Like I spotted him on Instagram. It was like one video and was just like wow, like you know
he's
these
got
like sick.
This
is crazy.
Dropping soon. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I shit you not. When it drops,
I'm really excited. Like, big up to Nux as well. Yeah, I like Nux. He's versatile. He's sick guy. Yeah, man. It's like there is a Koji as well. There's a whole scene of like us. I see Shay Lingo's album come out the other day. I like this side of the UK that's growing. You know what I'm saying?
Growing slowly. I feel like the creme is slowly rising to the top. Slowly.
Well, this is the hope, you know. And like I think we're getting our props as a scene. And what's sick about it is it's mad diverse. You know, like sound wise, is that. I feel like sometimes you get kind of pushed aside with the state of rap in the UK at the moment in terms of what's popular and that, but that's kind of by the by, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. What's getting pushed is always what's getting pushed.
Yeah, it will land on the people it needs to land on, you know?
I always feel like this side of the UK anyway is more talented than what's being pushed. There's more quality, there's more meaning behind what's being made in terms of the music.
And real music will last, you feel me?
And
it'll build the real fan bases, because you also find that, alright, now, the whole live music scene isn't really a thing right now. But if you go to these shows, to these like fast music type artists, they don't really sell that many tickets because they haven't got a real core strong fan base. Only the real artists who can really. Do you know the better real like? Do you know what a mad example of that is? Shout out to my guys Frankie, Stu, and Harvey Gunn. Like, I've opened for them on tour and I've been to their recent shows and that. And like. Some people from the outside don't realise like how many people mess with their sound and love their music, innit? Like it's amazing. I love what they make. They should definitely be included with what I was saying before. Like great people and like just really unique sound and they're so distinctive, amazing. Yeah.
I heard that tune Coconuts in like 2018. Like, I didn't know about them until I started using Spotify. This is why I love Spotify because it will recommend me other artists. And I was like, raw, like this is a vibe. Like.
So the Dream Factory, you know what I mean? Like that freestyle, that's their beat. Like that's off their last project. So if you go back to their last project, Dream Factory is a track them and Loyal Kana on their last one. And basically, early this year in lockdown, Frankie and Harvey sent me the beat being like, we're going to do a little challenge. Would you mind kicking it off kind of thing? And then I wrote that and was like, this feels right. On the project because it kind of explains what I've been on and what I'm planning to do kind of thing. So big up to them, man. Obviously goes out saying Loyal, Barney artists, like Alpha Mist, like these kind of people excite me in the UK right now and I listen to their music regularly.
Pulling back a bit, going back to obviously Dream Factory, you on the track you talk about your journey as an independent artist, obviously passing up on from what I got, signing to a major label, potentially somebody, I don't know if you want to reveal who that is, but what that whole process and journey, how was that for you? And I guess since you are still independent, right? Since you're still independent, what made you turn it down?
So it was an independent label, but they had the clout and resources. Like I didn't say names, but like I tell you right after. It's something like there's no. I won't necessarily put the name out there now, but like it was to a point where I did think about it quite hard at the time, but it didn't feel right. I think for both parties to a degree. Once we really started to get down to the details of it and hash it out and numbers and contracts, it just didn't feel like the right deal to be done for me or the right time. And in terms of the independent thing, it's a really tough one sometimes, like because you've got this trade-off whereby you can stay independent and maybe get to a certain position in terms of success. Or you say sell however much of what you are, give away the ownership of and get up here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
not,
yeah.
do you know, like, that is the difference.
It's a trade-off, man.
But that depends what you want, innit?
Yeah.
And like, and as much as, don't get me wrong, I've got a narcissistic element of me. I love people saying, well done, Bob.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Otherwise I wouldn't do this. Like, I enjoyed that. But it isn't what drives me, it motivates me. So, and the door's never shut. Like, I'm young, I've got a lot of things to create, do you know what I'm saying? And it didn't feel like the right time. You know what I mean? For a few months, you're like, oh, did I make the right decision? But sat here now, I feel very vindicated in that decision. And I couldn't be happier that I didn't take that at the time. So, but no, big up to them. It's not like anything wrong was done. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're all great people. I still got a relationship with them. Yeah. It's just, it wasn't right. It wasn't right at the right time.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's true. A lot of people do say that. Like, people we've had on the show, I remember Koji was talking about his deals that he's had in the past. The trade-off it's a sticky one, but I feel like if you are on, the right side of this UK music thing and you are putting out good music, I think, although it's a long journey, I think once you get that core fan base, it's just worth it. Because like Mosh said, with the shows, with the touring, those people are always going to be there.
100%. No, you're completely right. And then the problem is with that is that in this day and age, that's the lion's share of your earnings as an artist.
Of course.
So if you're coming into this as a career, and there are so many of those artists where you see they got millions and millions of hits on YouTube and this and that, but it doesn't translate into actual engagement. Beyond that, it's all surface level likes and short term attention off of and the current trend of all the meme pages doing the PR and that kind of thing. And but it works for people. But that's the top percentage of those people, and I see so much every day.
So much.
Where man are paying platforms, and like none of that ever made sense to me. None of that made sense to me, and like so I'm very happy the route I took. It's funny you brought up Koji because I was thinking about it the other day. Like he seems, I mean I don't know the guy, I don't know what his deal is. He seems to be in a sick position. He's on Atlantic, like which is one of the biggest.
That's the thing though, like you said, I guess it's all just about timing.
So creative, like,
because it took him time to get there. He'll tell you himself, like he told us, like he turned down so many crap deals to get the deal that made sense. Like he's been in the game for a minute, he's been put on top level artistry.
See, this is what I'm trying to hear, fam. Do you know what I'm saying? This is what I was like. Is this the right choice?
Even when he mentioned that, he was he dropped his manager one time, and then he went into the building just to see like what his sort of like deal was saying and what the papers were saying. And all that. He was like, "Right, this is like I'm getting shaped."
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh man, again, like, see this kind of stuff. I felt like from quite young coming to the music game, I'd heard so much horror stories. That I felt I've been quite guarded against that. Like I'm not trying to work with anyone.
That's the best way to be.
True.
Because getting shaked is just not the position
to
be in.
At the same time, it's hard because there's nobody there to tell you like what's the best deal.
So part of the thing of me taking so long is that I've done it all myself up until this point. I mean, that's not to put away like the help people are giving me and that. And Joe Mason at that time came and helped me with a lot of taking meetings and general strategizing. But like overall, up until this point and to this project really, when Asher stepped in, that for me, I've been doing it all, and I think that is tough because you don't necessarily, your skills aren't always in that place, you ain't got the time, it's quite mentally draining to maintain relationships all across the board about yourself and art, and it's kind of weird.
Because artists more time just want to make the art.
Honestly, like, even like I just did like a run of t-shirts recently, like then I did it all myself, like posted them all, and I was there stressing in the post office, like what am I doing, bruv? Like, surely I should be paying someone to do this, you know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe that's on my list of things I need to delegation, you know, that kind of thing. But there's something to be said, like, about balancing that creative control with delegation and working with people you trust. And sometimes they're not necessarily the most hooked up and like experienced people, you know, like.
But they just go hard for you, so that energy will attract the right connections.
And all the other artists that I know that are at the top of the game right now have all got that same thing in common denominator.
In terms of that,
a manager that they can trust is almost like fam.
Literally.
And in this day and age, that's the infrastructure you need.
Because so many people are just trying to books you out here.
Yeah, because if you build that, if you build your manager, you build your touring side, you start building a booking agent, you start messing with a PR company, you start building those things yourself. Then what happens when a label comes? What can they provide you?
They need to either give you a serious
just
bag.
Put the money on the table.
You
know what I'm saying? It's like dragging
That's
the
all I
game,
need.
bruv. Like, you're gonna come, like when you come in there, the more accomplished your product is on a commercial level.
The bigger the offer.
The more you can demand for that. And at the end of the day, like I say, it's not my motivation, but that you get to a point. It's like Dave Chappelle said it once. It's like like there's gonna be a point in your career
Yeah.
where art and business here, and it's gonna break your heart. Like, you know what I mean? 'Cause you have to make that compromise in this world. And if it changed, I'll change with it. But it's tough, man.
Yeah.
And you can find a happy place where you're making enough money to live, but you're not being solely driven by a kind of like desire to.
It's all about balance. Isn't it?
It's all about balance.
It's all about balance.
Everyone likes the bread. Let's not.
Innit?
Like everyone likes the bread. Let's not even.
Everyone, you need
Everyone,
the bread.
exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I got lyric, that's what I'm saying. Everyone was like, I don't like money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
I'm afraid of the consequences of it. You know, like what it
Mhm.
can do to people and also just the fairness of the world. Do you know what I mean? I know people say life ain't fair, but like,
Yeah.
with the justice, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Nah,
It's
nah.
true.
But like, it's a tough one, man. I love making music, and
And the money will
if money
come.
comes,
The
money
money will
comes,
come.
innit?
It will come. IJ and it will come.
That even leads to my last question anyway. What is next? Like after obviously you've just dropped the album, you just dropped the EP in fact. What is next after that?
This is a good
Do
question.
you wanna? Because naturally I can see you sort of like. Obviously you said you've been producing more, you've been learning more in terms of instrumentation and stuff like that. So obviously developing that musical side, but do you want to develop like your brand side and your sort of like PR and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, and this is where the development's got to happen, because I just don't know about it. It's so alien to me in my mindset. I've always felt like a kind of weird aversion to it. You know, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what it is, but like the promoting side of it, it didn't necessarily sit right with me when I was younger, and I've kind of had to try and find my piece of it. So I don't know, to be fair, now that I've got this project out, I've got loads of music that I've been working on in this last year whilst waiting to put this project out, loads. And like, I'm just coming to this next year will be a kind of development phase really. To be honest, I kind of would work on a kind of 2-year cycle with things anyway, because I think the more time you take, the better. In terms of, my favourite albums are from artists that don't necessarily drop every year, you know.
Kendrick.
Kano's album was unbelievable. Like, I think it's one of the best rap albums ever out of this country.
I remember
crazy.
Still listening to it now, with the same level of like.
I'm so annoyed I never went to the show. I'm so
Honestly,
annoyed.
both of them as well.
I remember that next morning for the rest of my life. When waking up and seeing that footage of him doing P's and Q's for Albert Hall with the fucking full band.
You know, like pretty much every single person I spoke to. Remember, fam, the reason why I didn't go is because I had this. I had guest list, everything patterned. I had this here. Every single person I spoke to has said calmly it's the best UK show they've been to. Calmly.
Hands down.
Calmly.
But that album, I mean, you got people like, obviously the top for me at the moment is someone like Kendrick Lamar in terms of the thought processing behind the album. And so I mean, I'm working on the next project already, basically. You know what I mean? That's how I always operate. But I've also got loads of little bits and bobs. You know what I'm saying? That might not necessarily need to be on a project. You know what I'm saying? They might find their home just out there. And I've got loads of stuff I've been working on with other artists. Quite a few little features that who knows if they'll see the light of day, but they could. That's it.
I really want people to really keen to Concrete Clouds still, because that's a sick project, like vibes, and like I said, I feel like there is a whole scene of UK rappers who the scene would call alternative. But it's not
that's
even
what we are now, isn't it?
It's just good music.
But that's why I like the way when you refer to it as just the other side, isn't it? Like, you got different sides of London, innit? It's just the same thing. That's how I view it, innit?
But also a lot of versatile rappers in that group that can rap all across the spectrum, you know,
artists.
And those rappers can spin the majority of the
that's a whole other conversation. You're talking about, to me, a big thing is a lot of these artists are coming in to be a good artist, and some are coming in to be a rapper, be the clout, the fame, the Instagram followers, and like, cool, if you want to live your life, innit? Who am I to comment on you, fam? Like, I've got my own life, but that's just not what interests me at all.
Of course.
But obviously, you follow me up on Instagram. Like, I hit me on Twitter and that. I got a new project out, man. And that's the contradiction of the music business art thing, man. I like to get up on my high horse, but like, really.
No, but so where can people find you on the socials?
So at Manik MC across the board, that's Manik MC.
Sick.
Hit me up on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever your streamers is. Like, Concrete Clouds is out now. I'm looking to hopefully soon get some vinyls going, something like that. So we're gonna be growing this project over the next couple of months. So just keep it tuned. And I've actually you know what? If the way things are going with the project, we're looking to maybe put a little extra track out in a couple of weeks. Just a little sweetener, a little thank you, little bonus, little something else. So we'll see what happens with that. But obviously, we'll give you guys a shout first.
Sick. Alright, and with that, we'll get into one of my favourites off the project. This one is called Snowman / Scarecrow. Cold tune.
Thank you very much.
Keep it locked to Syndicate Radio.